What up? What up? What up, everybody? Hopefully, you guys are doing all right. It is Friday Eve. I'm actually trying out a couple things today, so hopefully, you all can bear with me as we make life a little easy. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is dealing with the IRS and learning about the 72T. I'm not sure if many of you ever heard of it, but this is going to be something interesting. So stay tuned. I got to play my intro so we can get paid. Well, not really get paid, but so that people know about me. All right, hold tight, everybody. Let's go.
You're listening to the About That Wallet podcast. We'll be right back after these messages.
Low credit score dragging you down? Score Boost by Smart Credit helps you maximize your score by showing you exactly how much you need to pay off and by which date to gain the most points. Pay less and gain the most points the fastest. And you can start just for $1. Click the link in the bio, save thousands. Don't wait.
Even the best and the brightest this world has to offer have coaches and mentors. Build strong money-making behaviors by applying financial concepts and strategies with Anthony Weaver on the About That Wallet Show. It's time to get off the bench and get in the game. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? So, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is actually how to retire early. The main reason why I want to talk about this particular episode is because a lot of people are actually working well beyond the retirement age, and that's kind of a problem. So much so that CNN thought it would be entertaining to actually showcase such a case that, most people are really working beyond their retirement. And let me fix that because that doesn't look cool with my background. This is what happens when you try to do the vertical video versus different layouts. So I need to play around with the layouts a little bit more for the vertical. But you know what? Always got some flames. So, and I need to figure this out. Let me see if I can work this out, you guys, because I want to make sure that you guys can see this if I can customize layouts. I can't customize the layout in StreamYard. All right, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. So this right here is just showing. So that means I gotta zoom all the way in so that y'all can see this. All right, so this is an article based in New York, and they're saying Hope Mary, who retired in 2013 after a 50-year career that ranged from game show producer to Hollywood party planner to casino executive. She settled in the life of golf, game nights, and pickleball in her San Diego community, her daughter living nearby. Then things got more expensive. Gas is nearly $5 a gallon. I believe it's $6 a gallon now. You got medication costs are adding up. The grocery bills are was increasing. She downsized, stopped driving as much as she waited stopped driving as much and waited longer between haircuts. I actually wait about like 3 months myself between haircuts. I'm not sure if y'all could tell, because got to keep the grease down a little bit. But here we are. So, so she said last October at the age of 80. Now, keep in mind, she said that she retired in 50 in 2013. Now, at the age of 80, Moray ended her retirement and got a job giving out samples at Costco. Can you believe it? She retired at 50 and then go back to work after 30 years. That's crazy. So, to have something that needs to go beyond the 30-year mark, that's very important. So she likes observing the people. Some go to grocery shopping stores and heel face and so forth. But she says further that it just comes into my checking account every other week, and I can pay for everything. She said with her $18 an hour paycheck. My plan is to put the checks into savings account, but it didn't work out that way. I had to use it for the cost of living. So the cost of living is really increasing right now. And I believe a lot of us are feeling it. Not just the people who are scraping by, but we also looking at the people who are not able to pay their bills day to day. And that's really important because this is the reason why I want to talk about retirement and actually how to handle your distributions and going forward, because I do not want you to end up like Moray, so that you can actually live beyond and continue to invest your money now so that you're able to enjoy it and not have to worry about going back to work. Thank you, Lisa, for stopping by. Lisa J. Stokes for stopping by because we actually had a lot of fun. If you guys haven't already checked out her show, Lisa J. Stocks, where she's talking about stocks, go figure. But also, she's looking at the market on a daily basis, constantly giving you the latest updates and all of the cool stuff that's going on. Highly recommend to check her show. All right. So now that we talked about this, I'm going a little bit more into her story because I actually think it's really good to kind of get insight on the reason for retirement. So she also says that in this article, they're saying that people are living longer and more likely to be healthy into old age. Now, what does old age look like? It really depends on the person. To me, hey, 70 could be old age, 72. I mean, do you want to live to like 105? Who knows? It's up to you. But also, your health and everything like that has to come into play. But focusing on the finances itself, invest wisely, eat healthy so that you can live comfortably in your older age. But they say, but while at 65 years old, 5-year-old is more likely to apply for a desk job or remote work than something that requires heavy lifting, said Monique Maurice, a senior economist specializing in retirement security at the Economic Policy Institute. About 50% of older workers still have physical demanding jobs. So if you're over 50, you need to think about, like, if you're under 50 right now, you need to start thinking about, are you doing your squats? Are you doing your push-ups? Are you doing your sit-ups and your leg lifts so that you can keep your body moving, keep your body entertained and exciting? Because you could be out there making $13.40 an hour just to kind of sweep the floor, take out the trash or something like that. But these are the things that I want to kind of help you think about in the future. Where do you really want to see yourself? Do you want to maximize and get the big house and so that you have to go up and down the steps? Or do you want to downsize to pretty much a condo where it's just a one flat unit? These are the things that you have to kind of look into. Remember, this show is for educational purposes only. So make sure you talk to a professional, not just listen to a random guy on the internet. All right. So, you want to keep that in mind. And this is the reason why I want to come up with this particular article, just to kind of kick this particular episode off with. And I know some people like the news video clips. So let me go down and get you guys a news video clip talking about retirement because we all love it. Let's see if we can get something that, here we go. Let me see if I can share my.
We want to keep talking about this because it's become a reality for many of a certain age. Teresa Ghilarducci is a labor economist who's published works in several journals and co-authored books, including her most recent, Rescuing Retirement. Teresa, good morning to you. Now, we're seeing these retirees return because I'm sure a lot of them are very fearful of the volatile economy. But what are some of the other reasons impacting them? I would think socialization could be another reason.
Oh, yeah, sure, Adrian. Well, that story was really heartbreaking, but it's actually the motivation for my work. I'm expecting a lot of retirees are going to be looking for work. I was really glad that the person you profiled actually got a job. They'll be coming back to work because of inflation, but also because their income did not keep up with what they thought they needed. And worse, during the pandemic, millions of older workers were pushed out before they were ready. So what that means is that they expected to accumulate more pensions. They expected to not dip into their pension plans. They expected not to go into debt. And because of that massive unemployment during the pandemic, I expect that if they are welcome back to the labor force, they will try to come back.
Well, you say it like it's a question, though. You say it like if they're welcome.
I will. I totally will answer that question about whether or not older workers are coming back to work because somehow retirement was unsatisfying. I'm not seeing any evidence for that. When people retire and they have enough money, they are usually happier than they thought they would be. They find that they structured their time with activities they like to do, with mainly friends, with family, with doctor's appointments, or with travel, or just sitting around thinking about what they can do and be when they can control the pace and content of their time. So going back to work to socialize, no, thank you. They can find other ways to socialize.
Well, do you think that they have bargaining power? I mean, we're still seeing so many people leave the industry. We're seeing so many hiring shortages all across industries.
Exactly.
And so when they're coming back, do they have the chance to negotiate a reasonable pay?
Yeah, I really looked into that. When they come back, are they going to have the kind of bargaining power we're seeing among leisure and hospitality workers? Because those wages are going up. Or the Amazon workers and Starbucks workers who are union, who are organizing? Well, yes and no. The Amazon warehousing is an old person's job. A lot of retirees, we saw an award-winning film, win the Best Picture award in 2020 about older workers working in Amazon warehouses. So if they unionize, great, bargaining power. Starbucks workers, hotel workers, those are young people's job, and older workers not going to have bargaining power.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting is that they claiming they trying to classify what is an old person's job, what is a young person's job. Now I want you to kind of think about that. Is that something that do you have an old person's job? Do you have a young person's job? Like, are they going by income? So they don't clarify that in this particular video, but I just want you to kind of think about some of these things and the terminology that people are using when they're trying to describe these different types of jobs.
There. A lot of older workers, especially women, go into home health and personal care. They're old women taking care of even older women. And if those occupations unionize, some of the lowest paid occupations in the country, then they will get bargaining power. But just the supply and demand dynamics on their own, I wouldn't count on it. We see wage growth among older workers is actually much lower than for younger workers.
What's some advice that you would give to somebody who has to make that step back into the workforce when they thought they were kind of wrapped up with it?
Yeah, I try to actually go into a job that's unionizing. If you're going to go to a Starbucks store, pick one that is organizing. Go to home health care and personal care that is not just a private firm, but is one of those places where the state or the city pay for it. Really know your rights and don't self-deprecate because you're old. Don't make those old person's jokes. Don't make any of those. And then get some help from any kind of local AARP about how to build your confidence and get whatever individual bargaining power you can get.
I see a silver lining here. I really do. I think that it's quite possible that because we need workers so badly, that we might start to actually honor our seniors again, our elders again, in a way that we have not really done in the past few years.
Yeah, and that honoring that dignity doesn't usually come from outside. It has to come from mobilization of older workers and our support of them.
Yeah.
So I hope so too.
All right, Teresa Ghilarducci, thank you so much for being on the show.
All right. So I have to say that, that's interesting to see how they are thinking that, man, look at, I need time to make sure my button is. So one of the things that, for those of you who are listening to this show, want to play back, because obviously you're listening on this as the audio reel, instead of the video side of the house. So you know what? I'm gonna take a moment right now. So for those of you who are new to the show, I do go live every 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who have been on the show, I constantly want to thank you. And I do give away free books from time to time. Last week, I want to say, or 2 weeks, it's been a while, I just give away books. 2 books I given away. I given away Crush Your Money Goals. I'm still waiting for Charlene to get back to me on that one. Charlene, if you're listening. And then Front Center Leadership. Carla, still waiting for you to kind of hit me up for this one. So I've given this book away by Brandon Berkmeyer and also Bernadette Joy. I've actually met them in person and have interviewed them both for the show. So please check out their interviews, as they provide such great insight so that you can actually be taking this insight to take yourself to that next level. So either if you want to crush your financial goals, or even actually be a better leader, and so that you can be a better follower, and so that you can provide so much more insight to whatever you need to do. All right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this particular show. So keep in mind, I am not a financial expert or anything like that. I am here as a guide and somebody that you can listen to while you're doing the dishes, while you are checking out, other things on your phone, while you're listening to me. But one of the things that I want to bring up is the tax code 72T. I'm not sure if any of you all ever heard of it. Please let me know in the comments if you have. What do you know about the 72T? Just type it in. Let me know what you think. If you don't know, it's okay. Just type in, hey, I don't know. Tell me more. I want to know about the 72T, because I would like to retire early too. Anything? Okay. So it seems like not too many people know anything about it. It's cool. And one of the things about the 72T is that when it comes to 72T, it is a tax code form that will allow you to withdraw from your retirement accounts without the 10% penalty. And the way you have to do that, there is a form called the 5329 form that is on the IRS.gov. You can go ahead on and search that. For those of you who are listening live right now, I am going to pull it up for you so that you can see what it looks like. Because for me, I don't gatekeep. I like to share. So let me share my screen so that you can see it. So when you think about this, I swear I can't change the thing. So let me see if I could change it. I can't change the orientation while I'm live right now, but you get the gist. Okay. Let me send you the link here so everybody will have it. So you guys can follow. So the form 5329 is additional taxes on qualified plans, including the IRAs and other tax favored accounts. So this is the form where you're going to start filling things out on. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm just following and sharing the information as I see it so that you all can take advantage and use it for your strategies. So this form, oh man, I really wish I should have did it wide so everybody can see this. And so the form is very simple. You can actually just fill out your demographics, your social security number, looking for your name, looking for your home address, the town or city you're in, your country. If you have foreign country ties or anything like that, you don't have to worry about that. Now they're saying if you only owe the additional 10% tax or full amount of the early retired distributions, you may be able to report this tax directly on your Schedule 2, which is your Form 1040. Most of us fill out the easy 1040 form or just the Form 1040, line 8, without filing filing this particular form, which is the 5329. Now, when they're talking about the additional early distributions, let's see if I can zoom all the way in here so you guys can see that. All right. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to kind of squeeze this in and out, pause. So that we can zoom in and out of this form. So I want to make sure that you guys get this information. So additional tax on early distributions, complete this part of the taxable distribution form before you reach age 59 and a half. So remember, this particular episode I'm talking about form, this is the tax code 72T or the 72Q. Okay. You can fill this out before you reach the age 59 and a half. This is why this form is important. I found this out just randomly listening to another podcast, but not too many people are talking about this particular tax code. So say if you've been, this is the reason why I asked the question, what financial strategies have you done in your 20s? Because by the time you turn in either 40 or 50 or more, well, I'll say maybe up to 50, you've been doing what you were told to do back in your 20s. And some of you are listening now are like 25, 28, and you've been maxing out your IRA, your individual retirement accounts, or your 401ks. You can actually take advantage of this and say, you're like, you know what? I've reached my 1.5 goal in my retirement account. Now, some of you who have been doing this for so long that Roth has already just getting into Roth, because Roth is fairly new. I think it started in 1998. But because the Roth is new, it probably doesn't have as much money that you need to withdraw from. So you can actually utilize this particular form to withdraw your money with mandatory distributions, which we will be getting into shortly, early. And because you're able to withdraw this early, a lot of the bigger companies like Fidelity and all of the other ones that are out there, some of them will not offer this up to you right up front because they do not get commission for these mandatory distributions. So you have to ask for this particular code when you go to withdraw your money and ask for it. So they just have you fill out a form. Every distribution might have their own flavor of it, but this is a direct form from the IRA, being from the IRS. Okay. And they said this form qualifies is for let's reread this. So complete this part if you took a taxable distribution other than the qualified disaster distributions before you reach age 59 and a half from a qualified retirement plan, including an IRA or a modified endowment contract, unless you're reporting a tax directly from Schedule 2, which we already talked about above. You may also have to complete part of the indicated, this part to indicate that you qualify for an exemption, meaning an exception to the additional tax on early distribution or certain Roth IRA distributions. So remember, Roth is still new, so some of this stuff is going to be a little different. Remember, this is kind of like a almost catch-all form because we talked about that up front, but this is the form that you would need. Okay. So now that we talked about the form, let's go ahead on and go back to the IRA to say as far as qualifications. I really wish, like, I had everything set up the day before and I'm up here thinking like, StreamYard was going to save my stuff, but they didn't. So you're going to have to bear with me as I find all my stuff again to get this going. So I did find another thing. Let's see, share this tab instead. All right. So I had to find some of these things while watching the film. And you're talking about the repurposing of the information. Let's see, because remember there's a queue as well. So let's go down and read this right here. This purpose for this particular document. This is the N-2022-06, which is talking about the determination of substantially equal periodic payments, which they consider the required like the recommended mandatory distributions that you'll see a lot. So for those of you who are watching right now, I just went on and put the link inside the chat so you can have those. All right. But some of you be like, man, why do I need to know all this stuff? Why is this important? What's the purpose of it? So directly from the IRS, they say this notice provides guidance on whether a series of payments from an individual account under the qualified retirement plan is considered a series of subsequent substantial equal periodic payments within the meaning of the section 72T 2A Roman numeral 4 of the Internal Revenue Code. This guidance also applies for the purpose to determine whether a distribution from a non-qualified annuity contract is part of the series of subsequently equal periodic payments within the meaning of the section 72Q 2D. This notice modifies the This notice modifies and supersedes all the other fund code stuff. So they provide all this lovely information here, which is nice. And it's a lengthy document. It's like 13 pages. I'm not going to read the 13 pages. I'm going to save you some time by going to good old Gemini, or I could go to ChatGPT and actually say, hey, summarize this document. I wonder if they can do it without me signing in. Chat GPT. I apologize, you guys, for having you sit through this, because this is not my normal stick. Y'all know I normally come prepared and have everything ready. It's just that today has been a day. Let's see if I can search this page. Can you summarize this document? Oh, sweet. I did it. Okay. Share this tab instead. Let's look at it. All right. So for those of you, because it looks really tiny on my screen, hopefully I can zoom in enough for your screen. Okay, certainly the document provided is a notice that outlines the guidance for provisions. Oh, this is for electronic vehicles. We want the other stuff. It's good to know that ChatGPT now can actually read documents, because it'll make life a lot easier to summarize. So I do want to share a couple tabs with you all. So remember, I was talking about those other big banks that you can actually withdraw from. So you more than likely have to go through your particular bank where you have your IRA, or where you have your 401k, and actually fill out the form that's dedicated for them. They in turn will fill out the IRS form that we just walked through. And it seemed like this form right here is really simple. You don't need much to kind of fill it out. And this is by UDirect IRS Services, LLC. This one is what Merrill Lynch form will look like. So you'll also see when you're looking for these particular forms, you're going to hear them say the SEP, which is the substantially equal periodic payments, which is SEPPS. So from Merrill Lynch, and then they'll already tell you like what the plans are and how much you can withdraw and all that fun stuff. So you need to keep that in mind. All right. So let's go on back over to ChatGPT, because it did summarize everything, but it looked like it was mostly talking about electronic vehicles. But let's see. what is put in table form the IRS tax code 72T for qualifications. Because for some reason, the IRS website doesn't do well with who qualifies for what for the tax code. So I figured, why not use ChatGPT, which can put that in table format, and telling you guys, like, I don't sure why, if you guys haven't used AI at all, it's amazing. So for qualifications for the 72T, allows you the penalty-free withdrawals, which we already talked about. But the eligible plans, and this is why I was talking about the IRAs, the 401ks, and the 403bs, and other qualified retirement plans. One thing I noticed that it did not talk about is the TSP. So that one I'm going to have to do some more research on. Penalty age. Remember, you can do this before the age 59 and a half. Are subject to a 10% penalty, but the 72 allows exemptions. So you can get exempt for those. And this is what I was talking about, the SEP, talking about your mandatory distributions. The calculations, there's a lovely calculator out there that will walk you through different calculators. So depending on your bank, they should have something there. The age requirements to make sure that you're under the early withdrawals under the 72T can be taken regardless of age if SEPs are followed, which is good. So you can actually withdraw them as a lot earlier as you need to. So you can be 30 years old and actually withdraw your money without that 10% penalty. And that's the beauty of it, because as long as you're under the age 59 and a half, you're pretty much good to go. Now, again, this is educational purposes only. So please double check with your bank to see if you can qualify and what forms you need to do that. If you decide like, hey, you know what? I have more than 2 million, 2.5 million, 4 million or something like that in your retirement accounts, and you just want to start withdrawing some of that money now without being taxed on it. Taxpayers should maintain a detailed records of the SEP calculation and payments, because you want to make sure that all of your payments are coming in on time and the way they should be. Okay, so you want to make sure that all of that is taken care of. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to take up too much of your time today to talk about this particular code, but this is just a strategy to help you retire early. If you want to retire early, you need to know the tax codes. If you want to know the tax codes, just go to the IRS.gov and do your research, and then fact check with a tax professional at your particular bank. So I did post inside the chat to say, hey, if there's any questions that you have, I'll be answering those at the end. And I don't see any questions listed on Instagram. And I don't see any questions listed on YouTube or Facebook. So, with that being said, I wish you all the best and having an amazing time today. And really, let me know if this strategy is something that you're looking forward to try out in the future. Let me know if this is something that you can share with somebody. Just say like, hey, you're already 50 years old. You're tired of working. Have you thought of the 72T? Have you thought of filling out the 72Q form for the IRS code? You can actually, say, hey, have you ever heard of the form 5329? I don't know. Let me know if you guys watch this on a replay, if this is something that you'll try. Let me know now if you guys want to, if there's something that you will look forward to trying out in the future. I know I will. But obviously the tax codes change every year. So I'm gonna have one of the tax lady come back on, and I'm gonna ask her some questions about it. And I'm sure she's gonna provide some detailed information, because, I gotta give a shout out to Regina King. She is always coming in with the knowledge. If you guys haven't checked out our episode, every year I do an every year annual episode about taxes with Regina King. where we are getting prepared to filing your taxes on time. So, wish you all the best. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace. And now I gotta find my outro. Like I said, they make things so tiny on this thing. It's great. All right. There we go. All right, you guys. Take it easy.